This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners making tons of money, but more importantly, they're sharing their wisdom. It's 6 questions in 9 minutes because transforming possibility leads to reality. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, tell me who you are and what you do.
Brad, thanks for having me. My name is John Corcoran. I help B2B businesses to connect and make great relationships like we are here right now using podcasts and content marketing. It's something I've been doing for 10 years. Huge fan of it. I'm a huge evangelist of it. I tell everyone, whether they work with us or not, you should start a podcast because it'll deliver tremendous value to your life.
Podcast equal relationships. Connect with them.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Question number 2. What's the best thing, John, about being in business?
The best thing, oh man, there's so many different things, but I would say probably just the freedom of being able to explore different interests and go down different uh, areas that you're interested in. It's not unlimited freedom. Like you can't do anything you want or else you'll go broke very quickly. You have to kind of meet where the market is at. That's for sure very important. But if you do a good job of combining that with the market wants from you with also what you're interested in, then you can create something really magical.
I love it. Market message match with freedom.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
sure.
Good stuff, man. It's interesting how often freedom comes up in these conversations with entrepreneurs. It's definitely a pattern.
Yeah.
Love it. Question number 3. We hear from other business owners, even during this time with COVID and everything that's going on while we're recording this, but in the digital space, we're hearing from business owners that are getting so much business that the chaos is sometimes causing overwhelm. Tell me your thoughts on that, John.
That's for sure. I mean, we've had a lot of growth in the last 2 years, and so we've. In fact, just before I got on this call, I was on a call with a couple of team members, and we were talking about putting new systems and processes in place, and figuring out how they were going to work with our existing systems and processes. And we use Asana extensively for project management. We have systems documentation. We do videos and images and all this kind of stuff. So we're constantly documenting our process. We're constantly reevaluating that. And that is absolutely critical. So important that you go back and reevaluate your systems and your process on a regular basis and you capture them. There's so many, entrepreneurs I talk to and they struggle with, oh, it's just easier and faster for me to do it than to do it, to write it down myself. And that's just a losing dilemma. I mean, you have to divorce yourself of that idea. You got to take the time, put it down, document processes and procedures, because that's really the only way you're going to grow.
The hair on the back of my neck is like standing up right now because I love systems and processes so much. I'm an odd character that just loves that. So when you talk about that, I love hearing that. It's great. It's great to know that you're doing that as well.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That is actual real value. And we haven't even got to question number 5 yet. Question number 4, John. What other successful business owners like yourself, of course, should be on the Unlimited Wisdom podcast?
Oh man, how much time we got? I feel so fortunate, through doing my podcast myself. I've talked to so many great business owners. My business partner, tremendous. He's a serial entrepreneur, started multiple companies. Dan Cashel is kind of a mentor of ours and a client. He's got a great podcast called Growth to Freedom. And a super smart guy. We joke that you can ask him any business related question and he will answer in a 5-part answer that has like an acronym to it. Like every single question you can ask him, he's got like a 5-part answer. Ian Garlic, he's also a fellow podcaster and a mentor and a friend and a collaborator. I'd recommend him. Craig Hanley is a great guy. I interviewed him on my podcast recently. He started a business in a niche, in the Hispanic marketing niche, which he didn't have any knowledge in. I'm not even sure if he speaks Spanish. And he's got 1,000 people that work for him in this particular industry. So he's a really phenomenal entrepreneur. I'd recommend him. Robert Glazer's on my podcast recently and told some great stories. He is all about creating collaborative partnerships at the enterprise level. And so I really liked his message. that's just a few there. I think that would I would definitely recommend for your podcast.
I love it. And I love how you explained what they did a little bit and who they a little bit about who they are. That's fantastic. And I know your list could go on and on and
For
on
sure.
because you're in this industry. So I love it. Thanks for sharing. Let's get to some wisdom, John. What piece of wisdom would you share with other business owners? Like looking back, what's one of the main pieces you say? People just have to know this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the probably the biggest one would be, for me, every opportunity that's ever come has been from a relationship, from my network, someone that I met, connected with, built a relationship with. And I'm all about doing that proactively. You can't just be reactive. Your network could be shaped by your neighbor and who you work with, and people that you meet randomly, or you can be deliberate and you can deliberately build a relationship by joining different groups, attending different events, doing interviews like you are doing right now, like I do all the time, and deliberately growing your network over time. So that's what I say to people all the time. You should be proactively doing that, growing your network, building relationships with key people to build your career, to build your business, and that's what's going to have the biggest impact on any particular business.
I love it. So I know you're deep in this space, and I know you're not the kind who sends like cold pitches and links out. You're a relationship builder, and I'm fortunate to have connected with you multiple times here, and I'm growing a relationship with you. What advice would you give to someone who's used to that old style cold, pitches? Like, tell me a little bit more about how you create some relationships through your podcast and through your
The
systems.
funny thing is, people who do cold calls or cold emailing or cold pitching, you don't need to convince them that it's not working anymore. They know it's not working really well anymore. There's still people that do it. And if it's like the saying about, if you have 500 monkeys in a room pounding on 500, typewriters, they'll eventually pound out the works of Shakespeare. So eventually you'll get some results, but it's just not the most efficient strategy out there. There's a lot more efficient strategies out there. So, what I say to people who are doing strategies like that is, look, there's more effective ways where you can, generate content and use content really as a tool for connection. Use content as a tool for building relations, up-leveling your network, because you're delivering value to people first. And yeah, it's a little bit more work on the front end if you hire a company or something like that to come in and take the pieces off your plate that you shouldn't be handling anyways, so you can focus on the relationships. Then it actually is not that much work. You're probably doing it already. So I'm a big believer in doing that. Go out and be more efficient, more effective with your time. Build relationships at the same time as you're creating content, as the same time as you're doing business development. It will make you more referable, and it will seriously save you time than doing something cold calling and cold emailing or anything like that.
Let's shift gears from business for just a moment, because we work to live, not live to work, right? It's part of that freedom aspect. So what's the most fun vacation you ever had? Share something fun with me.
Most fun vacation, man. I was fortunate. We were able to go to Maui for better part of a month a couple summers ago, 2 summers ago, with my three kids. I have four now, but then three kids. And it was awesome. It was really cool to, kind of live like a local in Hawaii, which was a lot of fun. So that was definitely one of the better trips that I think that I've had. And it was wonderful because I'm a recovering lawyer. I used to practice law, and there's a lot of unhappy lawyers who trudge off to an office every day. And I made a difficult decision 10 years ago to start going down an entrepreneurial path. And it hasn't been easy. There's ups and downs, there's highs and lows for sure. But that never would have been possible to do, to spend that amount of time working remotely from Hawaii if I had continued going down that path. So it was really nice. It's kind of a validation in a sense to be able to do that. For sure. I mean, I don't feel like I'm at the end of my entrepreneurial journey. I feel like I'm still in the midst of it. There's still much more I want to do. But that was a small little victory along the way to be able to have that kind of experience. And also for my kids too, to take my kids and allow them to experience being there for a little bit. So it was a lot of fun.
100%. I absolutely love it. I love all the stories that people share in that space of having the freedom or moving in the way you describe that as a recovering lawyer, the way you said that. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. That's great stuff. Thanks for being on, John. When somebody, especially people who are looking at the podcast space or thinking like, hey, I want to start a podcast, people that would want to rise up, right? When they hear this and they're like, I have to connect with that guy, John, what's the best way for them to reach out for you?
Sure.
Social
Yeah.
media or website?
Yeah, they can go to rise25.com, rise25.com. Email me at john at rise25media.com. Feel free to reach out that way. Yeah, love to. I'm a big evangelist, as I said, for the medium. There's only so many companies that we can work with, but if you're curious about starting a podcast, I'm happy to point you to different resources. And we have videos and webinars on our website also where you can go learn about how to make it effective and profitable.
Awesome. This has been amazing. This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners, they're just making tons of money and loving what they do. But more importantly, they're sharing their wisdom globally to create impact. Thanks for joining us.